For the last month, I've been in search of my new adventure. Now, when most people think about an adventure, they think about a nice hike up a mountain or maybe even a vacation to France. But that's definitely not what I mean by adventure. An adventure to me is something that my brain tells me not to do. For example, going to the most infamous prison on Earth, also known as Alcatraz, or maybe even taking a trip to the most haunted town in the whole entire world, Haba, Alabama. These are just two of the most haunted places you should never visit due to how dangerous they are. In this video, I'll be showing you 3 of the most dangerous places on Earth that you should never go to. Not go to alone, never go to with anyone. But there's a twist that I'm not too happy about. After I tell you about all these places, you will have my life in your hands. What that means is you are going to be picking one of these places for me and Leslie to go and explore for next week's adventure. This is most definitely one of my most dangerous videos yet, but I'm going to show you guys just how dedicated not only I am, but my girlfriend, who's definitely not being forced into this. Let's begin with number 1, the Alcatraz Prison. So I've done all my research. I figured out the most dangerous places on all of Earth, and it's only right to start this list off with number 1, the Alcatraz Prison. The Alcatraz Prison is definitely in the top 2 most terrifying, dangerous places on this whole entire list. Let me tell you why. If you don't know what Alcatraz Prison is an island turned into, you guessed it, a prison. It's literally in the middle of a body of water, and it held the most dangerous criminals. We're talking about murderers, serial killers. Are those the same thing? I don't know. And especially mobsters. The prison was built on the island so that nobody can escape. Mind you, these are shark-infested waters. You would never want to swim anywhere near Alcatraz Prison. Actually, the only way to get to Alcatraz Prison is, you guessed it, a boat. You have to take a boat from the coast all the way to the prison. Only the worst of the worst were sent here. 228 people to be exact. And out of those 228, only 3 men made it out alive. Frank Morris, John Anglin, and his brother Clarence Anglin. The only way they made it out alive was by escaping the impossible to escape prison. And the way they escaped is absolutely insane. They used fake heads made out of soap and some kind of cement material that they were able to work with in the prison. They had hair on the heads because one of the escapees was a barber at the prison. They used spoons that they stole from the kitchen to poke holes in a ventilation system in their cell. And eventually they crawled through it. They meet in this room that they had been working in, where they climb a 30-foot pole up to the roof, climb down the roof. This is all at night, by the way. They climb down the roof. They have life jackets that they made out of raincoats, and they have a actual life raft made out of raincoats as well. They sewed the raincoats together and literally blew it up to make a raft. They used the raft to escape the island, and believe it or not, they were never found again. They could be alive right now, they could be dead. Terrifying enough. The prison is only 80 years old. I know that might sound old, but based on a lot of other haunted places, this is fairly new. And I've been authorized to go and explore it. Now, what makes this place so dangerous? Well, it's said by former employees that 70% of the prisoners were satanic. Oftentimes, guards would hear prisoners reciting satanic rituals in their cell. And it's said that the prisoners murdered each other to satisfy the demons in their head. Mind you, like 90% of these people were serving multiple life sentences. They were never gonna get out anyways. 28 people died in the Alcatraz prison. This is throughout murders and suicides. There have literally been reports from the guards saying that after a prisoner commits suicide, they find a note saying, "I am going to the underworld to watch over you," like as a last FU to the guard. If I was a guard, I would be absolutely terrified. Many people who have worked at the Alcatraz prison have said some actually unbelievable things. There was a story going around about the rolling heads, and this one actually creeped me out so bad I had to take a break after reading this. Apparently, 6 people in the Alcatraz prison sawed the head off of 2 brothers in the prison and were caught playing soccer with the head. kicking it across the field. Then the guard tells his side of the story and what he saw, actually a nightmare. He said the blood was still spewing from the neck while they were kicking it around. There was blood all over the grass and on the floor. Oh my God. So after they get caught, obviously they search these prisoner cells because they just chopped 2 guys' heads off. And in one of the inmates' cell, they find a Ziploc bag of blood. And the prisoner, since he has nothing left to lose, explains to them why he has the blood. He says he summons demons with the blood. And you can see that there's demonic patterns on the walls of his cell, like upside down crosses and weird eyeballs and stuff. Now, this is the most disgusting part. They find traces of the victim's blood in his beard. Now, they were just gonna rule this out as, okay, it might have splattered there when he killed the guy. No, the inmate comes out and says, no, I drink the blood. How do you think I summon the spirits? He said you can only summon a spirit if you drink your victim's blood. Bro, I don't even know like where these people come up with these things, but wow. Guys, I threw up in my mouth just now. This specific story apparently was enough to make 7 guards quit. We're talking about the toughest guards that have been to war, seen the worst of the worst, quitting because of the inmates of this prison. Many people have stories about when they worked at Alcatraz Prison, and a lot of them are proven, like factual. At night, the prison is filled with shadows, noises, and screams of the murder victims. The prison is said to house the spirit of Al Capone, which I would just love to get in contact with, as you could see. Right, babe? Nah, never mind. Now, as crazy as this might sound, this is my top contender for mine and Leslie's next adventure. Go to San Francisco, get on a boat at night, and sail out to this freaking terrifying prison, do my ghost investigations and see if we contact any of the spirits there, ask them questions, how badly they were treated by the guards. It would be so scary and would most likely leave us traumatized for life. But hey, what a great way to truly adventure. But before you decide, we still have 2 more gut-wrenching places to talk about. Let's move on to number 2, Cahaba, Alabama. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Cahaba, I don't know. I'm gonna just call it Cahaba, Alabama. Now, me and Leslie had multiple discussions about putting this in the video or not, this specific place in Alabama. And the reason for this is because of how disturbing the stories are, how terrifying, and how it could lead us to literally ruin our lives. But I told her, hey, that's a dangerous spot in the world that we might have to explore if you guys choose to doom us. Please do not pick this next location. Don't pick it. Like, I already know, like, oh, I'm gonna comment this right out. Don't. Just listen to the story before you just ruin our lives, okay? Because I'm literally going to the place that has the most comments. So just hear us out on the story and just have some mercy, okay? Like I said, the stories of Cahaba, Alabama are some of the most bone-chilling, dreamlike stories I've ever heard in my life. Apparently, Cahaba is a ghost town. Actually, it's literally known as the ghost town of the world. The population of Cahaba, Alabama took a plummet in the 1990s as families feared for their lives and the lives of their children. Rumors of witches, satanic praisers, spell casting, and even curses have circled the town for many years. Listen to this, guys. Former residents, actually people with proof that they used to live in Cahaba, Alabama, say that buildings, weird shaped buildings, would appear and disappear, and that there is absolutely no explanation to it. Now, there are so many stories about this place, but I'm gonna tell you the scariest one that I found. And it's about a man who ended up committing suicide due to the mysterious death of his wife and son. This happened in 1995. The family's in their driveway one day when a super weird car drives up. It says an odd car drives up. They look at the car and a middle-aged lady wearing an all-black dress and a pointy hat walks out of the car. She introduces herself as their new neighbors. The man said she seems super nice, super friendly, especially to the little boy. The man's wife befriended the lady. She would go to her house for dinner, they would talk, the old lady would go to the wife's house, they became friends. One night, the man woke up to a very strange smell. He said it was the smell of rotten eggs. So he gets up out of bed and he walks over to his window. He looks out of the window and sees his neighbor's house absolutely covered in a green smoke. He later says that this was the smell of sulfur, which apparently is used to make potions and cast spells. Now, by the time he went to go and call the cops, the smoke was all gone, and so was the smell. He warned his wife about the lady next door. Apparently, they had argued about his wife not going over there anymore and not talking to the lady anymore. But she didn't listen, and ultimately it led to the death of her and her 4-year-old son. One day, the wife and son go out on a stroll. The weird lady next door invites them in for lunch. This is just an ordinary day, but that was the last time the man would ever see his wife and son alive again and in one piece. After a couple hours and multiple missed calls, the man grew suspicious and he decided to go knock on the neighbor's door. No answer. He went to the backyard, he looked through the windows, but all the blinds are down. You cannot see anything. He goes to the garage, bangs on the garage, nothing. Knowing that this was his son and wife's last known whereabouts, he called the cops and then did exactly what any other desperate man would do. He breaks the door down. Little did the man know that entering that home would be the cause of his death just a few months later. What the man saw sent him into a mental trance all the way until the cops showed up, dragged him to the ground, and arrested him for the murder of his wife and son. Now hold on, because it gets way crazier. He goes under investigation. He just lost his wife and son. He's absolutely terrified of what he just saw. He's pretty much going crazy, and the cops take a report from him. These are his words that I'm gonna be reading. I walked into a dark and smoky home in search of my wife and son. The only furniture in the home was a rocking chair that was nailed to the wall of the master bedroom. No couch, no TV, and no bed. There was a room with hundreds of floating crosses. When I went into the kitchen, I saw a bathtub. Inside the bathtub was my wife and son. Their bodies had been sewn together. My son completely dead, and my wife looking up at me for help. All the hairs on their heads and faces had been shaved off violently. And when I looked up, I saw the lady crawling on the wall, staring down at me, speaking in reverse, with her eyes rolled into the back of her head. I had no idea what she was saying, but she was screaming at me. That's when the cops came in. I don't see how anybody can believe I did this. The man was sent to an insane asylum, where he later committed suicide. When people heard about the story, they grew angry, and they gathered against the town, saying, "Why did you guys do this to him? Why did you guys not investigate the murder that he was talking about?" Well, it turns out that the woman, her house, her car, and everything about her never existed. The man was arrested in his own home after his wife called the cops with her 4-year-old son in her hand, screaming and pleading to the cops for help while, and these are the cops' words, while they heard a man's voice in the background speaking backwards, and then they hear multiple stabbing noises in the phone. The wife and son were stabbed 52 times altogether. A day after the man commits suicide, a middle-aged woman moves into his home. Now, for the people that have theories about this story, they say that the man must have stepped on a little black bag. That's a saying they have in Kahaba. It's actually horrific. They say the man was cursed, that he stepped on a black bag made by a witch, which then ended up cursing him for life and sending him into this deranged mindset where he created this whole story in his head, and he was living in a different world where he murdered his wife and son. Now, people still find these bags on the street, and you're told, do not go near them. Don't even look at them. That's how terrifying, that's how dangerous this place is. Anybody can be on the receiving end of that curse. Tall figures in very long robes walk the streets at night. Mind you, the population of this town is very small, and they don't respond to any human interactions. They're actually so common that the people of the town call them kahabans, pointy houses, curses, witches, murders. This is Kahaba, Alabama, and it is the absolute last place that I would like to go to on this list. But like I said, I'm putting my life in my subscribers' hands. You already know I'm crazy enough to do it. So if you want me to go, I'll go. But if I step on one single black bag, I'm taking everyone that commented Kahaba with me. Let's move on to the final place. Number 3. The Stanley Hotel. Now the Stanley, okay, I just realized the lights dimmed a little bit. It looks kind of cool. Anyways, the Stanley Hotel is a ginormous mystery, okay? I'm not sure if most of you know the movie The Shining by Stephen King. You know, the terrifying author who wrote... Did you do that? You know, the terrifying author who wrote it. Anyways, to summarize The Shining, it's a movie about a man named Jack who moves into a hotel with his wife and son, and the son has like these telepathic powers, also known as The Shining, and it apparently wakes up the spirits under the hotel, and it wakes them up and gives them powers. The man is also deranged, and the demons are telling him that they want his son, and he has to kill his son and sacrifice him. In the end, the hotel freezes, and it's just a terrifying movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's so scary. Anyways, Stephen King literally got the idea because of this hotel. He went to the hotel and he said it was the most terrifying experience of his life. He said that they were the only guests at the hotel. And this was confirmed by the owners of Stanley Hotel, saying business was extremely slow because it was nearing winter time. Stephen says that when he got to his room 217, that there was a little boy in his room when he got there, which is impossible because they're the only people at the hotel. Which is also weird because 217 is rumored to be haunted by an old housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson. One day while lighting lanterns in the hotel, yes, that's how old this place is, while lighting lanterns in the hotel, there was an explosion. She ends up breaking both of her legs. She didn't die from it. She died later, and apparently she has a strong connection to this hotel. Rumor has it that she does not like male guests, and she'll go into their heads and literally traumatize them. She also disapproves of premarital relations. Mind you, I will be going to this place with my girlfriend who is not yet my wife yet, so keep that in mind. Stephen said that the way he felt in this hotel was nothing like he'd ever felt before. It made him not want to sleep. He says his whole body felt cold, and he kept on feeling people breathing in his face, cold breaths. Now, I don't know what you think, but that cannot be the result of just eating a York peppermint. That's a demon, brother. The founder of the hotel, Stanley, is found in the billiards room and the bar, commonly seen actually. Dunraven haunts room 401. Female guests who have stayed at this hotel have felt hands touching up their leg, somebody grabbing their waist, and the smell of cologne in their room. On the 4th floor, people see children yelling and running and laughing down the hallways. Mind you, the 4th floor is where nannies and children stayed at. Now, room 428 holds the ghost of a cowboy. Now, when you think of a cowboy, you probably think about a Midwestern movie and it's kind of cool. No, I thought of something very different. I thought of a devilish cowboy. An older couple who barely spoke any English said they woke up to a cowboy smoking a cigarette at the end of their bedstand. They say the ghost is from a cowboy named Bill who was hung back in the day for murder. Room 407 holds a friendly ghost. A little boy actually said that he kept kicking the covers off at night and the ghost would retuck him in bed, putting the covers over him over and over again. The hotel was so mysterious that higher ups started getting suspicious, so they started investigating it. What they found is that the hotel was built above a cave. This cave had high concentrations of limestone and quartz. This is known to draw supernatural spirits to the property. The hotel is so scary that actor Jim Carrey, who stayed in room 217, had to be rushed out of the hotel and driven away because he claims that he woke up in the middle of the night and saw a little girl eating the wood from his bed and bleeding from the mouth. Like I said, higher ups have been investigating this place. People from NASA have went to the Stanley Hotel for unknown reasons. Trust me, I tried digging into that. Why are they going there? No explanation. There's nothing on the internet about it. Nobody knows anything about it. I think this would be an absolutely terrifying spot for me and Leslie to explore and maybe even stay a couple nights at. But then again, it's not my choice, it's yours. There's a lot to talk about for all 3 of these places, but I'm gonna save it for the actual video. Well guys, it is the moment of truth. It is time for you guys to decide where me and Leslie are taking our next adventure. Keep in mind how nice I've been to all of you throughout these years and how much I truly care for my life and the life of my girlfriend, my beautiful girlfriend. We're both so young and we have so much to live for. Here are your options just in case you forgot. We have my personal favorite, the prison in the middle of a body of water that you can only get to through boat with murders. Okay, I'll stop. The Alcatraz Prison, number 1. Number 2, please don't. Haba, Alabama, don't do it. You think I'm laughing because it's a serious matter. I'm laughing because I'm scared. I laugh when bad things are happening. Don't do it. Just because I'm laughing doesn't mean I think it's a joke. I don't think it's a joke. Don't do it. And number 3, the Stanley Hotel, the inspiration of the most iconic horror movie The Shining, with demonic spirits haunting its every dark corner. So go ahead, guys, leave that comment. But mind you, I am only counting the comments of people who are subscribed to my channel. So if you're not subscribed, hit that sub button and leave your comment down below. Next week, I'll be revealing the location of our doom. I'm gonna be talking about it, how we're gonna get there, what we're gonna do there, and pretty much get everything set up to go. It's been your boy Sherman, and I'm out. Peace. Alcatraz, please. Okay, I'll stop.